So briefly and quickly looking at the number of views that we have on the front page today, we have for the space-time travel communication coordinate theater and its double changes 2, we have 2 views, further notes on the importance of context in, etc., etc. We have 14 views, and notes towards an initial and or deeper and or more confusingly complex, etc., etc. We have 12 views, and these coordinates, as I like to compose them, because they can be composed in a number of ways, but as I like to compose them or recompose them as the space-time travel communication coordinate 214.12, refer to a song on the Masters of Persian Music album Without You that is very simply called Tasnif, and Tasnif is a form that is roughly equivalent to the ballad form. It's one might call it the Persian version of the ballad, and because we've been talking about ballads in Emily Dickinson and elsewhere, it seemed reasonable for me to do something with this particular form, and I thought of this very famous Tasnif called Morg. I don't know how to pronounce it, but Morg-e-Sahar, and this song is interesting. It's a political song, and it was written. Its composer and poet wrote it while he was in jail, and it's a song of political protest, and envisions a day when the figure of this bird, metaphorized as the bird of dawn, or the nightingale that breaks the troubled night, and sings this song of liberation against the oppressors. And of course, this is the song that Mohammad-Reza Shahrian always ended his concerts with, and Mohammad-Reza Shahrian passed away recently in October of 2020, but he was known for his work as a humanitarian, and supported the Iranian Green Movement that was very critical of the government. He was in fact, banned from holding concerts and releasing music in Iran, and can be considered a freedom fighter. And I haven't, to my knowledge, I haven't done. Perhaps I have, and I've forgotten, but I haven't done anything in honor of Mohammad-Reza Shahrian, and so given the fact that we've been working with the thoughts about the ballad, and that I recently just constructed this sort of pairing that I refer to as the space-time travel communication coordinate theater and its double changes. I thought I would do a third variation, or a third part of the series involving these space-time travel coordinates and their double changes, and that Aaron and I could do something together in relationship to this this famous Tasnif, And what I'd like to do, and I haven't really consulted Aaron regarding this project proposal, but I hope he's amenable to it. But I thought that we could read it simultaneously, but read different translations of this Tasnif, and I'll open it with a quotation of what the Iranian encyclopedia has to say about this song. I'll just quote a passage from that, and then Aaron and I, if he's willing, can perform this piece as a kind of space-time travel communication coordinate theater double change, and with the variations in the translation acting as that element of the doubling. And so to begin, I'll quote what the Iranian encyclopedia, one of these online Iranian encyclopedias, has to say about this piece. It's composed of two stanzas, and these were written by Mohammad-Taqi Bahar. And as I mentioned, while he was in prison as a kind of political prisoner, and here's what the encyclopedia has to say. This song has had a long and troubled history. It has been sung as a comment on dictatorial regimes in Iran, and the hope that one day a dawn bird would arise from the darkness of the night. As a result, the whole of Reza Shah's rule, 1925 to 1941, its second stanza was banned. And then I'm going to break out of this discussion just to note here that it's still very difficult to find a translation into English of this second stanza. I found one online, and I'll perhaps read the entirety of that translation after Aaron and I complete the double reading of what will be for him a translation made by an algorithm, and I'll read a human translation. Soon after his coronation, Reza Shah had heard the whole of the song at a gathering at the house of his powerful minister. And then follows the names of the two brothers who initially performed the piece before Reza Shah, Mousseh and Mortiza Ne Dawood. And then there's a long list of Iranian performers of this particular piece, and unfortunately my dyslexia continuum will more or less not allow me to read through that without stumbling so terribly that it becomes painful to the ear. So we'll skip that part and proceed on. There are several conjectures as to why these verses were written, but it is more than likely that Bahar wrote them for the music around 1921, when the first signs of dictatorship were appearing. According to Nadira Badi, after Sadat, the first composer of songs in modern Iranian tradition, and Aref, the first creator of nationalistic songs, Bahar is the most notable of songwriters in Iran, and Morg-e-Sahar is the most famous of his works. This song, like many songs of the awakening period in Iran, has two stanzas. The first is lyrical, and the second deals with more social and political issues. And in political gatherings, only the first stanza was sung, and occasionally the second stanza was also sung at private parties, where the atmosphere was suitable for political debates. The words of Bahar have retained their effectiveness even without the music. And then it mentions, more performers, and the dates of performances. A few years before the Islamic Revolution in Iran, those responsible for the arts produced a very different set of words for the same tune, which were sung by Paran and Abd al-Wahhab Saidi in two voices. And that's more or less what, what Aaron and I are going to do, to sing it in two voices, but certainly, quite a bit differently, I imagine, from the way that it was performed in this instance. It was not received very well by the general public, and ours might not be either. Finally, a noteworthy point is that Bahar's verse became so popular that it was sung and adopted by the ordinary people in the streets. And, that, I'm sure, will not happen with Aaron and my version. Bahar himself is quoted as saying that one night he heard a passerby singing a line of the poem. But instead of, and then there's the Iranian transliteration. I won't be able to read that. But instead of this passage that's translated as "Turn my night into dawn," he was singing "Turn our dark night into dawn." And of course, the dark night, and this is an aside again, is something that we've discussed, in more than one instance and in more than one context. So that particular moment of this history of this song is interesting to me. On hearing this, Bahar changed the line to the passerby's version. And that itself is interesting because the interaction between the audience or the performance and the composition become interactive, and that interests me because very much like the way that I've attempted to construct a poetics of exchange and communication, that exceeds the limitations of the merely, formal acknowledgement of the reader's participation in the production of meaning that, reader response theory and other literary theories, sort of acknowledge, but fail really to put into the production and the process of a poetics as a communicative modality, right, and dialogue back and forth between speakers and engagers in discourse. Morg Sahar has remained one of the most popular of patriotic songs. So one could say it's like a popular ballad, right? All right, so all of that having been said, are you ready to begin, Aaron?
I am ready. A contract and fee through theta. Cock crows at dawn among the white chickens. So much depends upon this rising sun. Ah, the evil of the Dublin stew. Break it down. Set the cat pits free. Free those poor crocodiles with the coins on their backs. Free the lion tigers. Free Happy. Don't believe what the courts say about his not being a person. A white chicken caged in the coop beside the red wheelbarrow is now also the song of freedom for all living things. The breath of the field, the fresh scent of this lump of soil, this clod of clay, this glistening sparkle of dewdrop filled with an infinity of rainbows. Oh, fill up your red wheelbarrow with the glazing rainwater of liberation. Oh, cruel, cruel kind of farmers who scattered our nest to the wind. What were you even thinking? Oh God, oh sky, oh nature, enlighten our dark night of the soul. It is new spring and all, there are many flowers, but where, oh where are the bees? My eyes a cloud in the shape of a gathering storm. This cage is tight because my heart is so big, even for the heart of pastoral poet. Holy fire of dawn, ignite the walls of this cage with your fiery breath. The hand of nature has picked the idea of flowers and bees as an image of my life. Beloved, beside these white chickens of dawn keep these fresh flowers, sonnets, and ballads from being hauled off in that awful red wheelbarrow. Do more, do more, do more now, 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 NOW. You heartless red wheelbarrow. Remember that we are not red footballs for you to do with as you wish. Our song must be brief. Make it brief. Be brief. Make it brief. Brief.
Wow, Aaron, that was really, that was so good. I don't think I have anything more to contribute to it. So, maybe instead of calling this one the space-time travel communication coordinate theater and its double changes, we'll just call this the space-time travel communication coordinate theater and its Aaronic changes.